Here's a question nobody's really asking about the Balogun situation. What happens when the referee's decision is wrong, but the appeal itself is rigged to fail before it even starts? Because that's what actually happened at this World Cup. Not just a controversial red card getting reversed. FIFA built a wall around that reversal, so the one federation with every right to challenge it legally couldn't lay a glove on it. Quick recap in case you missed the noise. Folarin Balogun, USA's striker, got sent off against Bosnia and Herzegovina for a challenge that caught his opponent's ankle. Straight red. Under FIFA's own World Cup rules, that's an automatic one-match ban. No appeal. End of story. It's happened to plenty of players this tournament already, and nobody blinked. Except 2 days later, FIFA's disciplinary committee lifted it. They used Article 27 of the disciplinary code, a clause that lets them suspend a punishment and put a player on probation instead of enforcing it. Balogun was free to play the very next match against Belgium. And reportedly, this all came after President Trump personally called FIFA President Gianni Infantino to ask for a review. FIFA hasn't confirmed the call changed the outcome, but the timeline speaks for itself, and Trump himself has since confirmed he made that call. Now here's where it gets interesting, because Belgium didn't just complain on social media. Their federation, the RBFA, tried to do this the proper way. They formally requested FIFA's written decision and the reasoning behind it. They got silence, so they filed to appeal. And this is the part that should actually bother you more than the red card itself. FIFA's appeals committee threw the case out, not because Belgium was wrong on the facts, but because Belgium, according to FIFA, was not a party to the proceedings and had no standing to even ask the question. Think about that phrasing. The team standing across the pitch from the player in question, the team who'd have to face him, was told, legally, this isn't your business. So let's talk about why this is actually controversial, because it's not the thing everyone's already yelling about. Everyone online is stuck on, did the president get involved in football? Fine, that's a fair thing to be annoyed about. But that's not the structural problem. The structural problem is this. FIFA's own disciplinary code has a rule, Article 66, that says a red card is an automatic ban, no discretion, no exceptions, full stop. That's supposed to be the whole point of an automatic suspension. It's not supposed to be up for debate. Then Article 27 gets used to quietly override that no exceptions rule. Fine. Maybe that's legally defensible on paper. FIFA does have that clause in the code. But if you're going to use it in a way nobody's ever really seen applied like this before, in the middle of a World Cup knockout round, the bare minimum standard of fairness says the affected party gets to challenge it, not get a courtesy hearing, and then get told they were never allowed to be in the room in the first place. UEFA, European football's own governing body, came out and said this crossed a line, that a rule like this isn't supposed to be open to interpretation. That's not a fan account with a grudge. That's the confederation that governs the entire continent's football, essentially saying FIFA broke its own credibility. And the kicker, Belgium still won the match -4. Balogun barely factored in. So this isn't even a story about a result getting stolen. It's a story about a process that failed regardless of what happened on the pitch, which honestly makes it worse, not better, because it means FIFA took the risk of gutting its own disciplinary system for a game that didn't even need it. So here's where I land on this. The Balogun red card itself, genuinely arguable. Reasonable people could see that as harsh. That's not the issue. The issue is FIFA built a disciplinary system that claims to have 0 exceptions, quietly created one anyway, and then made sure the only party with a legitimate reason to challenge that exception had no legal path to do it. That's not a refereeing controversy anymore. That's a governance failure. And if FIFA can rewrite its own no exceptions rule under pressure and then close the door on anyone asking why, the next time it happens, it might not go a team's way that just so happens to win 4-1 anyway. Because the real red card here isn't the one Balogun got. It's the one FIFA showed to its own rulebook.